Hey parents, Mr. Dinner here, back with another video. New video, same outfit. Hey, I'm just knocking these videos out today because the kids gonna get this work and they're gonna learn. So today, you see we got a number line right here. What we're gonna learn is equivalent fractions on a number line, how it looks, all right, and how we're gonna use equivalent fractions to solve for certain problems that they may see on their homework or on the test or on the quiz or such and such. All right. So let's looking at this number line, we have it in fifths. A good habit that I tell kids if they don't have a number line, let's say the number line doesn't even have any endpoints on it, it's just bare blank like this. Good habit: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 spaces, that means it's in fifths. And now we label 0 fifths, 1 fifth, 2 fifths, 3 fifths, 4 fifths, 5 fifths. So that habit is count your spaces when you don't have your endpoint to determine what this number line is in. So now they may see a question that say, hey, on this number line, I want the kids to plot 7 tenths. On my number line, plot 7 tenths. Where would 7 tenths go on this number line? What the question really wants them to do is use equivalent fractions to solve where 7 tenths is going to go. Again, one thing I teach the kids is how can we think through this? We know that we have a number line in fifths, and the denominator that we're using here is in tenths. Do these numbers share some type of relationship? The answer is yes. They are factors and multiples of each other, meaning that 10 is a multiple of 5, and 5 is a factor of 10. All right? That means I can multiply 5 times another number to get to 10, and I can take that 10, divide it by another number to get to 5. If the light bulbs went off, I know the light bulbs went off, so now we know that 2 is our answer. So now what do we do? So what do we do is we're going to use equivalent fractions with all of these endpoints. All I'm going to do with that is I'm probably going to take 2 points so the pattern can be shown on how I'm going to use equivalent fractions. So I'm going to take 1/5 and I'm going to multiply that. Something times 5 is going to give me 10. 2. 5 times 2, 10. What I do to the denominator, I do to my numerator, put the 2 up here. 1 times 2 is 2, so we know 2 tenths. So because they're equal, and we know equivalent fractions means fractions that are equal, but not only equal, they share the same amount of space. They share the same amount of space. That means 2 tenths is on the same exact spot as 1/5. Now I'm going to do the same thing with 2 fifths. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. All right. 4 tenths, same spot. Now we should kind of see that every denominator is going to end at 10, and we're just using the endpoints. Okay. So now 2, 4, it should go off. Oh, this got to be 6 tenths. This got to be 8 tenths. This has to be 10 tenths, right? How was I able to do that? Is I'm skip counting my twos because I'm multiplying each of the numerator by twos. Now that we have found that equivalent fractions, remember we got to plot 7 tenths. Where is it going to go on this number line? All right. So now here's the key thing kids have to have the understanding of it, of this, is that when you're multiplying a fraction by a whole, you need to understand what is really happening. What is really happening is we multiplied 1/5 by 2 halves. That means this space of a fifth, 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 this space of a fifth was cut by that whole half. All right, so that means half cut this space, half cut this space, half cut this space, half cut this space, half cut this space. So each of these spaces were cut into half, and that's why we have these equivalent fractions. So now these new tick marks that we made because we partitioned it is now tenths. In between 0 and 1/5, or in between 0 tenths and 2 tenths, is this 1/10. In between 2 tenths and 4 tenths, is this 3 tenths. In between this 4 tenths and this 6 tenths, is this 5 tenths. In between this 6 tenths and this 8 tenths, is 7 tenths. In between this 8 tenths and this 10 tenths, is 9 tenths. So kids need to have that understanding that when you cut why equivalent fractions are equivalent fractions, when you multiply a fraction by a whole, the space or the pieces of that fraction is getting partitioned into it. So we're going to do just one more problem so we could understand exactly what that means. This time I'm going to really use a smaller number. I'm going to use fourths. Okay. Hey, drop a comment also. What is 7 tenths equal to? If you're watching this with your child, they get gold coins in my class. What is 7 tenths equal to as a decimal? It's equal to 2 decimals. All right. Drop a comment. Okay. So cool. Now we're going to the next one. I told you I'm going to make this one not as long. I make my whole bow. Again, let's keep those good mathematician habits. Count our spaces before we label. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have fourths. 0 fourths, 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. Right? Now let's say, you know what? I want to know where 10 twelfths is. All right? 10 twelfths. Where is 10 twelfths on this number line? Again, I got to use equivalent fractions to find out where 10 twelfths is on this number line. How am I going to use it? I look at my denominator here. I look at my denominator here. All right? My denominator, 4 and 12, have a relationship with each other. They're factors and multiples of each other. That means I can multiply to get to 12. All right? I can multiply this 4 to get to 12. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that 1/4, whatever, times something is going to get me to 12ths. You can skip count your 4s. 4, 8, 12. That's 3. 4 times 3 gives me 12. What I do to my denominator, I must do to my numerator. What I do to my numerator, I must do to my denominator. That's 3. So we have 3 twelfths. So you know 3 twelfths goes right here. All right? We're going to take 2 fourths and we're going to do the same thing with 2 fourths. 2 fourths. We know we figured out is 3/3. I'm going to multiply that by 3/3 again. And that's going to give me 6 twelfths. 6 twelfths goes right here. Also 6 twelfths and 2 fourths are also known as 1/2. All right? Same thing here. We're going to take 3 fourths, multiply that by 3/3. That is going to give me 9 twelfths. 9 twelfths goes right here. And right here is 12 twelfths. This one is a little tricky. All right? This one's a little tricky because now, again, we are multiplying this 1/4, these spaces of 1/4 by a third. So this space of 1/4, this space of 1/4, this space of 1/4, this space of 1/4 is getting multiplied by a third. Again, what is really happening when you're multiplying fractions by whole numbers? That space or that piece gets cut into thirds. So last time we cut it into half, this time we cut it into thirds. So watch this. That's one space. That's 2 spaces. I know I did 3 spaces. I know I did 2 lines, but I made 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. That's a third. We're going to go here and do it again. 2 spaces, 2 lines. I meant 2 lines cut, but 3 spaces were made. 1, 2, 3. Same thing here. 2 lines were cut. Make those 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Same thing here. 3 spaces are made. 1, 2, 3. So now if we count all these small cuts, it should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You see that? every time you remote, that's a key understanding that kids need to have to be able to master a problem like this. Every time you multiply a fraction by a whole, that whole is cutting that fraction by either halves, thirds into those pieces. So now you label these smaller ticks. So now we know we have a total of 12. So this would be in between. This would be 0 12s. So these two tick marks in between it is 1 12, 2 12s. Okay? All right? Then skip over 1 12, 2 12s, 3 12s, 4 12s, 5 12s. We got 6 12s. We got 7 12s. We got 8 12s, 6, 7, 7, 8 12s, 9 12s, 10 12s, 11 12s, and down here 12 12s. And then that's how we do it, parents and families. How are we using equivalent fractions to find other spots on a number line? This is another big thing that they will be tested on and should be exposed to throughout the year. Equivalent fractions. Another video will be dropping on how to make equivalent fractions and the understanding of equivalent fractions. But until then, thank you. See you soon.